Many of the new IDs I work with seem a little confused and pretty overwhelmed by all of the different file types involved in the work that we do.
The formats have always been a real challenge for me.
It can be hard to know which file type to use when, as well as which program creates what.
You think you're all cool because you know to use a JPEG or a PNG, and then you get introduced to EPS, and then you hear about an SVG, and then you hear something referenced as a vector.
In this lesson, I'm going to walk you through some of the more common file types that I use in my work, and I expect that you'll use as well. Before we get going, please know that this is not an all-encompassing list. Also, we won't be discussing video or audio file types in this lesson, as this course is really focused more on graphics.
Once you have that down pat, you can just go to town designing and creating.
Okay, are you ready? Let's get going.
Let's dive right in with a trusty favorite, the PNG. PNG stands for Portable Network Graphics. This is a type of image that uses transparent or semi-transparent backgrounds, so it's perfect for using for logos or layering compositions. I find myself using PNG as my go-to image type, simply due to the crisp, high-quality result it produces. To get that effect, PNGs use something called lossless compression, which means they retain all of their original data when compressed. That means higher quality output, which is great, but also a larger file size, which can lead to slower loading times. Just something to bear in mind. Let's move on to another familiar friend, the JPEG. JPEG stands for Joint Photographic Experts Group. This is a graphic file type used namely in photography and web publishing. Unlike PNGs, JPEGs have solid backgrounds, so they can be trickier to work with when you're creating layered compositions. JPEGs are great for everyday graphics that don't require transparent backgrounds or super high quality. They use something called lossy compression, which means that in order to keep the image size small, the file will lose some of its original data along the way. This is different than a PNG. That means JPEGs can lead to faster loading times, but also a lower quality output. Keep that in mind. Moving on to a controversial file type, if only in name, the GIF, or GIF, depending on who you are and what you prefer. This stands for Graphical Interchange Format. These file types are often used to share short clips of movies or movement. They are essentially a series of still images strung together to create a small scene, similar to a flipbook animation. Like PNGs, GIFs are also saved in a lossless format, meaning that no image quality is sacrificed when they're saved. Again, this leads to larger file sizes and slower loading times, but a really crisp output. GIFs are popular in today's meme culture, but they also have some applicability when it comes to e-learning design, especially for basic animation. Next up, we have the SVG, the Scalable Vector Graphic. Vector graphics rely on coordinates on a plane rather than pixels, which means they don't lose resolution when they are scaled up. Vector graphics are great to use in projects with responsive design, as the output will look crisp no matter how large the screen. You can modify vector graphics using PowerPoint, but only if they're converted to SVG file types first. That makes this file type a very useful one for folks without an additional vector image software, such as Illustrator or Inkscape. Next up, we have another vector file type called EPS. This stands for Encapsulated Postscript. What's great about EPS is it can be universally accessed by almost all systems and software. It's often used for large-scale print projects like billboards, but you'll also find these file types when you download vector packs. Vector graphics are highly valuable tools for LXDs because the various components can be easily recolored and reshaped to suit the needs and palettes of our projects. There are a few file types that don't exactly pertain to the scope of this course, but they're still worth mentioning. We have TIFFs, which stand for Tagged Image File Format. These are most commonly used for high-resolution scans or photography. Because I typically source stock photos online or I'm provided photos for the work I do, as opposed to shooting photos myself, I really don't find much use for this file type, but it exists. And while I said I wouldn't dive too far into video or audio, just so you have this on the record, MP4 and .mov are video file types, while MP3s and .waves are used for audio. Hopefully, this is enough basic information to get you feeling pretty comfortable with the different file types you're bound to see in this type of work. Give yourself some grace as you're learning, and know that progress over perfection is the key to success. Have fun and take care.